Of course, some months ago, weeks, we heard about a Kenyan international who was allegedly manipulating matches. And on Friday, the World Soccer Governing Body, FIFA, did communicate that Muhoroni Youth have been found culpable of match manipulation and therefore stand relegated to Division 1 from the National Super League. And of course, FIFA have not told us the nitty-gritty, asking Muhoroni Youth to probably write to them in 10 days if they want to get the details of that. Ben, I'll come to you. Match fixing, these accounts actually eating Kenyan football. Time and again, I remember 5 years back again, the same FIFA sanctioned a former international defender over the same crime. But it seems the more things, the more noise made, nothing is really changing in as far as match fixing, and it actually becoming more bold and bolder.
Swila, like I said, we have become a country of statements, you know. Once something comes up, you
and
release,
actually we have the letters on screen.
Exactly, you release such a statement, you know, saying relegations. I saw Moses Adakala, or what is his name, Adagalo or something.
Adakala, the president, the chairman of Muhoroni.
It's very painful, you know, it's very painful for FIFA to relegate us. How now?
And
How
then it's given a 3-match ban by...
Exactly, and now you're relegated to Division 1, you know. It's really disheartening to see such kind of acts, you know. Swila, we are a country that is trying to redeem ourselves in terms of soccer, you know. And when you hear stories of match fixing, that's Division 1. Can you imagine KPL? What stories that we have not heard about, and the stories that are coming up in the...
Under the carpet.
Exactly, you know, and because of the rich men, Wakili are saying, you know. But Swila, it's a football, that's why it's called a lovely game. You should go there, mucheze game vile inakuja. Kama ni bai nakata, you know, there's no reason for match fixing and, you know, earning around 100,000, you know, 50,000 for what, you know. Then the entire football team, the entire FKF, the entire Kenya, you know, fraternity, football fraternity, is deemed as cheaters. You know, it's not a good face for us.
For a goalkeeper to be implicated in such situations, not once, not twice, not thrice, goalkeeper. There must be someone in the FKF who is controlling what is going on. Again, it stops.
That's a wild allegation, Shtera. Do you have any proof
it stops. It stops. Because I cannot be doing something without the backing of an authority. You get? So there must, the federation should take up all these statements that are coming up with so much seriousness to ensure that we enjoy the football. The fans, you saw what happened between Gor Mahia and the FC Leopards. You saw the fans that came in because of the confidence of that match. That is the picture that we really need to have going forward. And fans are very intelligent people, by the way. Well, they will know. If a match is bought, they will know.
Can I bring in Wakili?
Okay.
Yes, sure. Yeah, before I hear from you, let's bring in Wakili. And probably from the legal perspective,
yes,
there is no single law in the Kenya's Constitution 2010 that talks about match fixing and the remedies and probably how to tame it. And this is what we've been making noise here, and I know there are FKF statutes, there are CAF statutes, there are FIFA statutes, but Kenya's constitution, the supreme law governing the land, there's no single clause on match fixing.
So I'll start by asking, is there a law in Kenya's constitution or enacted by an act of parliament that speaks about offside? There's none.
And penalty?
And penalty, there's none. I mean, football is a private entity. The government only comes to fund the participants because it's a duty of the government and to build the infrastructure. There's that talk which you've been saying there's no single law as enacted by parliament.
Yeah, sure.
That's fine. But we have FKF statutes and FIFA statutes which are enough to deal with this menace.
So where do you think there's a problem? Because you believe these laws are enough, but it seems these guys are having a field day. Because right now,
yes,
this used to be discussed in hushed tones.
Yes.
But the reality, you and I know, even as we are discussing this, there's a player, there's a rogue agent somewhere planning to fix even probably this weekend.
Here's the solution. Sometimes last year when we were discussing about the prospects of candidates winning the FKF presidency, we sat somewhere here and I spoke, if I can quote myself verbatim, I said this, to the winner, he should reactivate the standing committees and the judicial bodies. There are three important persons or bodies who can help us fight off this scourge of match fixing. Number one, FKF itself in a whole. But number two, the integrity department of FKF. Number three, the disciplinary body. And then number four, they need to reactivate the investigations department.
And that calls for manpower. Do you think they have sufficient manpower? Do they have enough infrastructure to do this?
I'll make this disclosure. I know there are some persons or players of interest and referees who had been suspended with the last regime and whose disciplinary process did not arrive to its end. You know, when I say arriving to its end means perhaps they will have been found guilty and they will have been sanctioned in a manner similar to what FIFA has done to Muhoroni. So some people were suspended, however, the investigations lapsed. The investigations did not arrive to their conclusion. So they were left hanging there. And that's why you find that there was a decision by Court of Arbitration of Sports on Lennox. Is it Lennox Ogutu from Madare, where the federation is now going to be penalized for correctly suspending but not taking disciplinary action. So FKF needs to, the new regime of course, needs to pull up its socks in terms of prosecution of these suspects. And you know, we already have the judicial bodies as provided by Article 64, 65 of the Constitution. And again, the FKF anti-match manipulation regulations 2016, they correctly state which body is going to deal with this, with any suspect. First of all, you need to suspend somebody provisionally, according to regulation, section 27, section 7.2. The CEO is allowed to suspend somebody provisionally as investigations continue taking place. After investigations are done, then he or she needs to be prosecuted. And if a party who is mentioned adversely or is prosecuted and is aggrieved, he or she does not feel that he was treated properly, he can still appeal to the FKF Appeals Committee, failure to which, again, if you are aggrieved, you can still go to SDT. After SDT, you can go to the Court of Arbitration of Sports. So there is a forum already which has been clearly spelled by the FKF anti-match manipulation regulations. The enforcement is where we are staggering. I mean, we are crawling. We are not doing it right. When it's a country of athletes, we are supposed to be running fast and finishing off these things. Yes.
Zita, you had a thought, and probably you can tie it with the kind of damage this does on the goodwill, on the corporates who would want to come invest in the game, because Chitera is not going to pump his 20 million in a league where matches are fixed.
Where matches are predetermined.
First of all, I want to say, before Muhoroni changed it, the first Muhoroni had a lot of dramas and they were relegated again. And then Wazito in July 2023, that was Wazito that has issues again. And they changed their name to Muhoroni Youth again by, I think, one of the businessmen from, Nyanza by buying the Wazito and changing its name. And then again, by that, alikuja kauza team kwa Dagala.
The real
owner now of the name of Muhoroni. So it was a chain of Muhoronis.
It was a beneficial. Probably bought it as a beneficial.
Yes, but again, of course, Dagala angekuja aseme nataka kununua sport because people knew what the name of the president of Muhoroni Dagala. The name has been everywhere about, of course, about hooliganism, about all these things. But again, finally now we have seen something being done to this, and I think it's going to be funzo kwa watu wengine. We have a lot of stories that are running here and there about match fixing, and then it comes again to our league. Why are these people fixing matches? Why are players agreeing to get even that 10,000, 20,000, 50,000? Do we have money to finance these people? Are we paying them enough that they need that lifestyle whereby they're not
But
going
Zita,
to
I'm
make
not buying
this
into
decision.
that. Integrity demands.
It's true.
If you are paying-
It's true.
A match
if
fixer.
today
You
work
cannot
for
pay me
Spiller-
20,000.
No, hold on. Today, you work here at RMS. Probably you're never paid what you want, and you won't say because you guys are paying me, I'm going to engage in crime to make ends meet. I think these players, you're a criminal.
But
they need to be guided by the integrity.
Trust you me, if someone gives you that opportunity, maybe something, I'm not saying in a bad way, but again, it comes back to these, how much are we paying our players? There are players in the Premier League, they're being paid 15,000. There are players in the Premier League where they're going almost 6 months without being paid.
And there are players who are getting the 15,000 and they are playing the football without
and they have families. These people have families. So let's invest.
But we can't justify
find something else.
We need
some clarity. We need some clarity. First of all,
the enemy is the poverty.
There's betting. There's betting and illegal betting or the fraudulent betting. We saw Lucas Paqueta, who the Brazilian who faced several allegations on betting, illegal betting.
From West Ham.
Yeah, from West Ham. So the question here is manipulation, match manipulation.
Right.
Yeah, you can bet if the rules so allow.
Yes.
But the question in Kenya right now is about match manipulation.
Yeah.
Even by the way, refusing to field Shitera, who is your top scorer, deliberately when you're going to face
too much
it's part of match manipulation. And the acts of hooliganism in Muhoroni, by the way, they were premeditated. If you read some findings of FIFA's investigations, the match against KCB, when the KCB coach was beaten down and then the match was stopped, apparently Muhoroni and their handlers or their agents did not want that match to end because Muhoroni were having a free kick and they would have equalized.
But Swila, I support,
final thought on this.
Final thought, Swila. I support Shitera when he's saying there's always a big man behind the scenes. Because if you see number one, someone who we called our top goalkeeper, being restated to play in the KPL, you know, after being videos.
Adversely mentioned.
Exactly, you know.
He said he's not the one in the video.
And then coming out saying it's not me, and we can visibly see.
It's not me,
the guy,
but let's be fair.
The burden of proof.
True,
but let's be fair, Swila. Let's be fair.
I know Akili is bringing the...
Let's be fair to
the alleged player actually went to court and actually got injunction.
A goodwill. And that's why I said, if you look at the match between Gor Mahia and the FC, it is a statement of confidence because the match was full to the rafters. So can they pick that and move with it the right direction?
They have done it. Somebody has been suspended right now.
That's why I'm saying we have so much confidence and goodwill in the new federation.
And
so that's what we are saying. Let them take it up and give us that confidence, even to
see more players being suspended.
And of course, this thorny, hot debate on the match fixing is what forms our question of the day, and we're asking you whether you think Kenya will win the war against match fixing. We want to hear from you. This is a big concern. I'm told we have some feedback. Let's sample some of the feedback we already have regarding this. That's from Facebook. You're calling yourself?
Edwin. He's saying, unless payment changes, sponsorship and Ministry of Sport to be serious. Again, Brian Jackman amesema the team should focus on how to ensure there is continuity flow of money in the club's accounts. Ila Sivio, match fixing is here to stay.
Match fixing. Those are your thoughts, and of course, we invite more from you. We'll be sampling them as we carry on with the show. And of course, the UEFA Champions League. That's the stage of the big men, not boys. Of course, on Tuesday,